What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Stocks channel. Today in SPY, we were up 0.32% as we continue to push outside the upper Bollinger Band for the third day in a row, which means we are continuing to look a little overextended, which while that doesn't guarantee we can't continue to push higher, it does mean the probabilities of a pullback are getting more and more likely the more overextended we get. Now in the short term, the next price target is up here at 475 as long as we're above 467. So if we do continue higher, that could be a potential resistance, and during a pullback, we could easily come back down towards this breakout level right around 467. If we break 467, you're looking for support right around 462 and the critical support at the breakout of the July highs at 458. If we break 475 and continue this vertical bull rally, the next price target is just below 478. On the NASDAQ 100 triple Qs, we were down 0.09% today, and the triple Qs are now 4 days outside the upper Bollinger Band. So just like SPY, the Qs are looking a little overextended in the short term, and we are hitting this resistance and price target at 404. If we break through 404, we're looking for a test of the previous intraday all-time high, which is just above 408.7. So if we continue pushing higher, we're very close to all-time highs, and once we hit all-time highs, it's possible we could start to pull back towards this gap fill zone below 339, the support zone at 396, and the breakout level just below 391. So those are the support levels you want to pay attention to, and if we break out to a new all-time high, we will likely squeeze out some short sellers, which is going to start happening above 408, and above 408, we would likely start pushing higher towards 414. In the Dow Jones, we were up 0.43% today, and the Dow Jones is now closing outside the upper Bollinger Band for 2 days in a row, so we're also getting a little overextended in the Dow. And we are at brand new all-time highs in the Dow Jones, which means we're already squeezing out any short sellers who thought the Dow Jones wouldn't go any higher. And now that we're breaking to all-time highs, those short sellers are going to manage the risk by becoming net buyers, covering their short positions, which could push us as high as 376. And then once we get that push towards that price target, do not be surprised if we need to cool down towards the breakout level at 363. So it is looking like with these vertical rallies, we are getting these high volume short squeezes, and while there could be organic buying behind that, at some point we will need a pullback to prove there are buyers at the breakout level of support on the retest. On the Russell 2000 IWM ETF, we were up 2.78% today, and the Russell 2000 has finally caught up to the rest of the indices by catching up to the August high, which is the equivalent of the July highs in the rest of the indices. So as you can see, we hit that price target at 198 today, and I think we can still continue to push higher if we get a breakout here because we're likely going to start triggering short squeezes, and the small caps have been underperforming all year long, so they could be playing catch up. So above 198 or the weekly breakout at 197, we are likely pushing higher towards 203 and then into the 220s. Now keep in mind, we are a mile outside the upper Bollinger Band, so even though we are likely going higher, do not be surprised if we come all the way back down towards this gap fill at 193 before we continue pushing higher into the 200s. On the ARKK ETF, we were up 3.69% today, and we gapped up above the price target at 50.7, which was the previous July high. So just like the small caps, the ARKK ETF is also playing catch up to the indices and starting to break out. We hit that price target at 52.3, and we are outside the upper Bollinger Band. And with a gap to fill to the downside, it's possible we do come back down towards $50 before we go any higher. On the break of this resistance at 52.3, we'll be looking for the next price target at 54.6. On the VIX, we were up 2.38% today, and the VIX has now hit that lower Bollinger Band for 3 days in a row, which means the VIX is very low and very oversold, which could be an inverse indication that the S&P 500 is about to pull back as we see a spike in the VIX. Tomorrow is OPX, which means a lot of options will be expiring, and that could bring newfound volatility into the market as those option traders start to position for the next quarter. In the event we do start to see volatility, I think we'll easily see the VIX trading up here right around 15 and 16, and that's more in line within a pullback in a bull market and not something I would be too worried about. So if you are trying to time a pullback, pay attention to the VIX, and if it starts to spike out above 13, that could mean we're starting to get a pullback. On Bitcoin, we're currently trading right around 43,000, and we're continuing the bounce off of the rising 20 daily moving average of support at 40,000, and the resistance to break remains 44,500, and if we get the bull breakout above that resistance, the next price target will be 47,500. If we get a bearish breakdown and this ends up being a lower high, then we need to break the support at 40,000, and we'll be looking for a retest of the support down here at 38,000. On Nvidia stock, we were up 0.54% today, and Nvidia is still struggling to break this resistance zone right around 484. And if we get a lower high rejection from here and we break this support at 454, I think there's a very good chance we come down here towards 435 and the gap fill below 424. Now, if we get the bull breakout and we break through this resistance, then we push higher to the top of the range at 504. And if we break outside the upper range of 504, we start on a very strong bull run towards 600. But we're only going to assume that bull run is coming if we can break that very critical resistance zone. And I still think there's a very good possibility we stay within this range for a few more months. On Tesla stock, we were up 4.91% today, and Tesla finally got the bull breakout above the range of 244 to 246. And I told you above that bullish breakout, we would likely go towards 255 and 260. So that is the expectation as long as we're above 244. If we can't hold above 244, this could have been a false breakout. So do pay attention to that very critical support now. And if we do break support at 244, we could come all the way back down towards 234 to 230. And then below that, there would be that gap fill at 225. But there is no doubt this is a bull breakout that is likely going higher as long as we're above 244. On Apple stock, we were up 0.08% today outside the upper Bollinger Band for the second day in a row and continuing to break out to new all-time highs above 197 with the next upside price target all the way up there at 204. So we are getting a little overextended, but it is possible we just ride the upper Bollinger Band to that price target so you can stay bullish in Apple above 197. If we break down below 197, your support zones will be 194 and down here right around 190. And then quickly, I want to look at a weekly chart of the financial sector because we were in a bear market in the financials last year in 2022. And then this year, we were kind of chopping around going absolutely nowhere. But as of lately, it does look like we have this higher low or potential double bottom look. And we're now getting a weekly breakout as long as we're above 36.6, which could mean the financial sector is looking a lot healthier and getting ready to push back higher towards that previous all-time high. And if this is the case, this is very bullish for the market and something you should be aware of. So just pay attention to the ETF XLF, and as long as it's above 36.6, it is looking very bullish, which is going to be bullish for the entire market. So jumping back over to the S&P 500, we are still in this very vertical bull rally that is now breaking the July highs across the board, and the small caps are now participating in the rally. So this is a very broad-based bull rally, which is exactly what the bulls want to see. And we are now seeing the market continuing to advance even on days that the big 7 or big 10 stocks aren't necessarily performing as well. So there's really no more debate on whether or not this is still a bull market. It is very obviously still a bull market, but we are getting a little overextended with these vertical rallies. And at any point, we could be due for a cool down and a pullback. So watch those critical support zones and watch the VIX. And if we start to get evidence that the pullback is here, it'll be very easy to see it through the price action. There's no reason to try to guess where the top is going to be. So just manage your risk around these critical levels and continue to trade with the direction of the trend. We're absolutely crushing this market on bank trade alerts, continuing to make brand new all-time highs. So if you want to come crush the market with us, you can find out how to join bank trade alerts by clicking on the link below. I also have the Stocks Channel Discord where you can get access to all of my intraday updates and analysis. So if you're interested in either of my services, you can find out how to join them below. So thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you're crushing this market. And as always, I will see you in the next episode.